Welcome to Yoga for Cyclists. I highly encourage people to watch the entirety of the video before attempting any of these movements or stretches. You may want to consult with a physician if you have pre-existing health conditions or injuries. This practice is designed not to gain dramatic flexibility, but rather help the body have a nurturing experience and to be the ideal recovery tool from hard efforts on the bike. Aim to make effort to focus and practice in a safe way, but also aim to have focus to not over effort. So you're not using this as just another way of pushing yourself, but rather using this practice as a tool to undo the damage we do to our bodies when we do exert, so that you can complement the intensity of your exertion with this time for softening and relaxing. Make sure you can breathe deep. That's an excellent indication that you're not overstretching. Focus on the breath, enjoy the benefits of the breath, and aim to gradually progress in the practice. If you have specific issues with any poses, feel free to leave them out. Add and subtract poses depending on your needs, and aim to enjoy a daily practice. All athletes should do yoga, but not all yoga is for athletes. So enjoy practicing as often as you can, and notice the benefits when you get back to your high levels of exertion, and enjoy improving through trying not to try. In standing pose, have the feet parallel and the legs very long. Work your tailbone toward the ground slightly. Draw in your abdominals to support your back and have a lift of the chest. Let the shoulders roll back and the arms hang down. Have the back of the neck lengthened and lift through the crown of the head as you breathe deep. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, twisting to the right. Come back to center. Inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, twist to the left. Continue the flow side to side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Practice with the breath. We'll do some movement and eventually preparing to hold. When ready, holding the stretch. And sustain. If it feels good, turn the head, and if not, only focus on twisting the spine. Keep the spine long as you twist, and breathe. Switching sides. Sustain. Work on squaring the hips and opening the chest and shoulders as part of the twist. Completing deep breath. Use the exhale to unwind and inhale, arms lift overhead. Exhale, standing. Beginning lateral bends. Taking hand to hip, take arm overhead and stretch to the side. Switching sides, using the hand to hip for leverage and continuing side to side. We'll do repetitions, gradually warming up the spine, not focusing on how far you go, but just enjoying gaining circulation through the movement. And as the body gets a little bit more loose each round, we'll be prepared to eventually go deeper as we sustain. Using the hand to hip for leverage, enjoy the stretch as a full release for the side body and a little bit into the side hip and side leg as well. Let the head be at the same even angle as the spine. Switch sides and enjoy the stretch. Keep the chest open and the abdomen slightly drawn in. Steady gaze as you continue with deep breathing. Exhale, release, and now roll the shoulders a couple times, both directions. And now, practicing half sun salutes. Arms overhead, fold down, and touch the ground. You might need to bend the knees. Hold the shins and make the back flat, and then fold down again. Bend the knees and hold the legs or the hips and hinge up with a straight back. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms relax. If you need, you can continue the modified version, otherwise arms lift, and exhale, fold down. Come into a half lift, make the back very flat, and take a full fold and release your neck. Again, make the back flat, option to bend the knees, hinge and stand tall. Arms overhead and then arms relax. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Half lift, full fold. Straight back lift, arms overhead, arms relax. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Straight back lift, arms overhead. Arms relax. Exhale, and take a moment to breathe deep, absorbing that sequence. Inhale, arms overhead, and exhale, fold down. Walk back into a plank position and then put the knees on the ground and ease into child's pose. Soften in child and enjoy your thighs stretching, and then come back to hands and knees. Rolling the back, and then straightening the back. Continuing this motion, rounding the back, lifting the core. Tuck your chin to release your neck, and then straighten out the back and lift the chest and head. A couple more rounds. Really enjoy that chin tuck, which releases the neck and counters the overextension we do when we're on our bike. When you're rounding the back, you can feel your abdominals contract, or just do it in more of a relaxed way. Aim to lengthen without over back bending the low back. And then ease back into child and enjoy the stretch through the legs, the hips, and the spine. Let your arms relax and have your forehead soft to the ground, or you can fold your arms or put pillowing under the head if you need. Next, coming back to the hands and knees, and then adjusting into a seated pose. Take lateral flexion of the neck, right ear, right shoulder, left ear, left shoulder, and continuing side to side. If your knees are stiff in your seated pose, you can do this in a chair or do this sitting on cushioning. Sustain the stretch, several deep breaths. And then left side, sustaining the stretch. Head comes back to center. And now we'll make our way back to hands and knees position and ease back into child's pose. From child's pose, we're going to come up to sitting or kneeling, and then take a big step forward to runner's pose and have the right knee above the ankle. If you like, you can hold the thigh or just use your fingertips on the ground for more length of the spine. Five deep breaths here. And when you're complete, go ahead and glide back to plank. And then knees down and take child's pose. Come up to sitting, and then big step forward with the left side, runner's pose. Work on lengthening not just the leg muscles, but the spine as well. Use your options, holding different parts of the leg. Take deep breaths. This helps to stretch the hamstring connector and the inner thigh. This is a very good counter stretch for sitting in the chair and also for sitting in the saddle for long hours. Enjoy the pose. Make sure to stretch deep without overstretching. Glide to plank and strengthen the legs as you lift out of the shoulders. Put the knees down soft and ease to child, and just relax. Deep breath in child, letting the spine stretch, letting the mind relax. Come back to the hands and knees, tuck under the toes, straighten out the spine, and then push into downward facing dog pose. The hips are lifting high and you're lifting out of the shoulders. It's good to have the heels a little bit up, and now we're going to pace the heels side to side, bending one knee then the other, taking this little walk in the pose, releasing deep as you isolate in the calf and hamstring side to side. When you're complete with both sides equally, come back to center with both legs. If you have tightness in your hamstrings, you can bend the knees. Otherwise, lengthen through the legs, and eventually the heels will ground more. And then exhale, child's pose. Come back to hands and knees. Tuck under the toes. And again, downward dog pose. Lifting the right leg and lifting out of the shoulder. This will help to strengthen and stretch the posterior leg muscles without rounding the lumbar. Switching sides, very smooth. Let your head relax downward as you lift high through the leg. Just lift to your comfortable level. You don't have to lift excessively, especially when you're newer to the pose. Focus on your breathing and use your exhale to lower your leg, completing both sides. Knees come back to ground and ease into child, relaxing and letting go. Trying to not try too hard as you surrender into the pose. Coming back to hands and knees. And then lowering to face down. Release your ankles back. And inhale, lift the legs and the chest for Locust Pose. Tone around the knees and roll the knees together a little bit. Lower with the exhale and then release the hands back. Lift with the inhale, Locust, next variation, and extend through the ankles. Rolling the knees in will help you to avoid compression in your back. Exhale, release, and then place the hands overhead. Bring the arms back and take Sphinx Pose. The elbows in line with the shoulders and the chest lifting, the ankles reaching back. And again, a little bit of an inner spiral of the knees, so the sacrum is not overly compressed. Supporting some weight on the forearms, allowing the chest to lift and free up. If you'd like, you can lengthen the arms, but only do that if it feels really, really good. Make sure you can breathe deep and maybe even smile a little bit in the pose. And releasing down. Hands alongside the chest. Inhale, Cobra. Only lift as high as comfortable. If it doesn't feel good to use the arms, you could stay in a low Cobra, just lifting with the back strength. Or try lowering and bringing the arms more forward. If you're able to, apply the arms, but keep a little bit of a bend in the elbows. Lift deep, but don't overstretch the low back, and really work on opening the shoulders back so you can open up in the chest. Use a little bit of energy in the glutes, but don't squeeze too hard, and keep the heels rolling out. Use your exhale to lower, and then place the hands alongside the hips and turn the head to the right. Deep breath as you let the neck and the upper back relax, and let your legs and glutes relax as well. Switching sides, just soften and enjoy in the face down resting pose, breathing all the while. Head comes back to center, and if it's comfortable on the neck, you can have the chin forward and then slide the hands under the hips, lifting the right leg, half locust pose. Don't worry about how high you lift, focus on lengthening as you strengthen the hamstrings, glutes, and low back. Switching sides, lengthen and lift, and take deep breath. If the neck's not comfortable forward, have the head facing down, or you could alternate having the head turned. When you're complete with both sides, place the left arm overhead and stretch the right thigh for half frog pose. You can take the heel a little wider than the glute. This is a great release for the quadricep, and it's also a bit of an internal rotation for your hip, which will help to open the sacrum, prevent a jamming in the sacroiliac joint. Keep your pubic bone down and enjoy the stretch as you breathe. This is very good to counter all the muscular energy we build when we pedal our bikes. Smoothly release, switch the arm position, and when you're ready, take the other side. Have a good grip on the foot, but don't make the arm or the shoulder tense. Enjoy how relaxing the head down, relaxing the neck and upper back will help your hips to release as well. A little bit of internal rotation as you stretch deep through the thighs. And release the second side. When you're ready, use your abdominal muscles, come up and sit back into child. Just relaxing in child. We'll come up to sitting on the heels and take a big step forward to runner's pose. Again, use your fingertips, bring the hands back a little bit, and we'll do a half splits. So you want to work on lengthening the spine. And if you notice you're rounding a lot, you could try more height, maybe a pair of blocks if you have them, and you can also keep a slight bend in the knee if the hamstring is very tight. Otherwise, lengthen through the leg and flex your toes. Deep breath through the nose. Coming back, pass through runner, and then ease back into child. Sitting up, and big step forward through the left foot, and then ease into half splits on the left side. It's an excellent stretch for the hamstrings. Just make sure you don't overstretch the back. Emphasize the lengthening as opposed to rounding of the back, reaching forward through the chest. Deep breath. Try and have some openness in the toes, and the toes can work back toward you a little bit to enjoy stretching the Achilles and the calf muscle as well. Come back to runner's pose. Take downward facing dog pose. and then bring the right knee forward for Swan Pose. Be careful on the knees. You may need to sit on a big blanket for this one, or have the knee a little bit more to the midline. Initially, we'll work on lifting the chest and have the shoulders open. And after several deep breaths, we'll release into the forward bend of the pose. Have the arms overhead if you can. If you need, you could prop up on the forearms, be more partially down. Otherwise, take a full release. Keep your hips squaring and the top of the back thigh facing the ground. Relax and breathe deep. Enjoy that dynamic release in the hip flexors and the glutes. After about 5 breaths, bring the hands in place. Come up. Tuck under your back foot and push back into downward dog pose. Opposite side, left knee forward, swan. Work on lifting the chest. It's kind of like cobra with the upper body, unless that doesn't feel good on the back. We'll hold the lift. Enjoy the stretch in the spine, the stretch in the lower body. And then exhale, lower. Remember your options. You can have a full release with full extension of the arms, or you could prop up on the forearms. Whichever variation you choose, enjoy going deep. Go deep on the inside. Don't worry about what the posture looks like on the exterior. Focus on the experience that's happening deep inside. And enjoy letting go. Remember, this is a time to try to not try too much. Save the competition for when you line up at the race. And after a little 5-breath vacation, we'll come up and tuck under the back foot and push back into downward dog pose. Relax the neck and lift out of the shoulders. Deep breath. Knees bend to the ground. Child's pose. And then come to sitting or kneeling and take right foot forward to runner, but not stepping too far. Take the back leg into a thigh stretch. If the kneecap hurts, you can put something for padding like a towel underneath it or a blanket. Deep release of the back thigh. Spine is nice and tall. And then letting go softly of the back leg. Passing through child's pose. We'll come up, sitting on the heels. And then big step forward with the other leg and take the thigh stretch. Just stretch as deep as comfortable. If you can work the heel into the glute, that's great, but if not, that's fine. Enjoy the stretch And keep the spine nice and tall. Chest open, staying as relaxed as possible in spite of the challenge. And then releasing that same relaxed quality and easing back to child, enjoying that newfound freedom in the quadriceps. Come up to sitting and then adjust to the side. Bend your right leg in and adjust your hips back. Stretch forward and maybe just hold the shin, or eventually you can hold the foot. Have the spine relatively long and the neck neutral, so you're lifting the chest and slightly lowering the head. When complete, lift up and adjust the legs, taking the opposite side, adjusting the hips back, gradually beginning the stretch, and then stretching a little bit deeper. Again, don't worry about how far you go in the stretch. Just focus on enjoying the stretch, releasing the muscles comfortably, enjoying the release in your back as well, and the relaxation in your neck. Release from the stretch. Sit up tall. Lengthen both legs. And then scoot forward, bending the knees. Hold the back of the legs and lower onto the back. Give yourself a hug in knees to chest. And then take a reclined cross-legged pose. You can use your hand to tuck the right foot to the inside more, letting the knees stretch open. If you had pain in your lower back, you could elevate the feet like on a blanket or a towel. Otherwise, enjoy the knees opening out and down more, stretching through the quadriceps and opening up in the groin. Feel the spine lengthen as you sustain the pose, and breathe deep to increase the stretch. Lifting the knees and switching legs. Have the feet free of each other so the knees can open down more effectively, stretching through the thighs, lowering the shoulders, lengthening the back of the neck. lifting the knees. Come back to knees to chest. Give yourself a nice, well-deserved hug, and then lower the feet to the ground. Now opening both knees, feet together, butterfly pose. Again, if you had back pain, you could elevate the feet a little bit. Otherwise, just enjoy the stretch. Gravity does the work for you, releasing the inner leg muscles, the groin, the hips, and letting the shoulders relax. Feel how by relaxing the shoulders and lengthening the neck, and the hips respond more positively. You don't want to trade tension from one area to the other. Ideally, we're having full body relaxation in this pose, assisted by deep rhythmic breathing. Inhale fully and exhale slowly. Enjoy a nice long hold here. Putting in time in the poses really helps the body to open and release most effectively. And knees lift. And then the feet go wide as the mat or a little wider. And bend the knees in on each other. If the knees hurt, approach this more conservatively. Otherwise, the knees bend in and eventually touch. And you enjoy how this helps to lengthen the lower back a little bit more and decompress the sacrum and sacroiliac joint. Take deep breath, and again, relaxing in the shoulders. Feel that the neck is long. If your neck doesn't feel good in these reclined poses, it might be wise to use a towel or a blanket, or just a small cushion to support the cervical. You can approach this with the eyes open or closed, and eventually you bring the feet closer together and take knees to chest. Opening the arms, take the legs to the left as the upper body twists to the right. Keep your right shoulder down and use the opposite hand on the thigh to go deeper into the stretch. If you're limited, you could use your arm under your leg or put a form of cushioning under the leg so you don't overstretch. It's good to stretch deep, but you want to make sure that you can breathe deep. Remember, the breath is the most important thing in yoga. And unwind. And try the other side. Keep the shoulders grounded so that you're getting a twist in your mid and upper back, and relax your feet and your legs as well. Deep breath, enjoying the stretch, and noticing how you feel on each side. You may feel one side is a little bit more stiff, which is natural enough. You can always spend extra time on one side or do your tight side twice if you really need. Aim to customize your practice according to your specific needs. And when you feel balanced, you'll come back to knees to chest. Keep the right knee to chest. Extend the left leg to the ground. Hold the back of the leg and extend the right leg. Or if you have a strap or a belt, you can use that. Any household belt or bathrobe sash can work as well. You can keep the grounded leg bent, or if you're able to, you lengthen through it. If you're feeling overstretched in your right leg, have a slight bend in the knee, otherwise lengthen through the leg without locking it out. Draw your toes down and lift up through the heel. Deep breath here. This is a very ideal pose for cyclists as it releases the legs and drains stagnant blood flow without rounding the low back like a lot of hamstring stretches do. Enjoy it and go deep, but don't make the shoulders or arms tense. Remember, we're aiming for full body relaxation here, full body recovery. And releasing the right leg, very slow. Take the other knee into the chest. Extend the left leg. And either hold the leg or use your strap. Place the strap right over the ball of the foot, right over the center of the ball of the foot. Draw the toes down, lift up through the heel. Remember your options, the bottom leg can be bent, or the top leg, or both. Otherwise, you're lengthening through both legs, which will help you to lengthen the spine as well as the leg muscles. Shoulders stay relatively low. You hold firm, but not too much, so you get the perfect amount of stretch without tensing up in the upper body. Back of the neck, very long, and you're enjoying the full body release. Enjoying the release of gravity of the lifted foot and leg. And releasing the stretch. And take the leg all the way down. And now just relax on the back. Shavasana. We're going to take some time here. You can let the arms and legs open. If you have back pain, you can try something under the legs like a blanket. Take deep breaths. And then let go of all effort of the breath. Just relax. Allow the body to process all of the movements and stretches. Allow yourself to absorb all of the benefits of yoga. Benefits of the breath. Benefits of the posture, benefits of just taking time to be slow and still and soft. Letting go and enjoying this time of effortlessness and inner peace. Eventually bring movement back to the body. Take knees to chest. Stretch one arm overhead. and then gradually lift yourself up. Take a closing seat, take a moment to acknowledge your practice, to appreciate your practice. And until next time, thank you so much for joining us here today. Namaste.